Getting started. Corporate setup. Getting started is easy. The first step is to set up your organization's profile in the Corporate tab. This is where you will enter primary contact details, your reporting year-end, and, if you wish, the name of your organization's greenhouse gas champion and greenhouse gas accountant, if you have different people in these roles. As you will see throughout the process, the little blue pop-up question marks will provide all the guidance you should need to understand what information you should enter each step of the way. Business unit setup. The next step is Business unit setup. The next step is to decide which of your business units will be part of your organization's greenhouse gas inventory. Business units can be separate companies, facilities, or operations which are owned or controlled by your organization. Simply enter the address details for the location and optionally enter the industry classification or NAICS code. You can also specify an emissions reductions target for each location. In the comparative metrics section, you can enter key performance indicators for your organization, which allow you to then report on your emissions per dollar of revenue, per customer, per unit of floor area, etc., or enter custom metrics useful to you, such as widgets produced. Emissions sources setup. Now that you have set up your organization, you need to consider all the ways your operations generate emissions and decide which of these you will track for each location or business unit. For each emission source you wish to track, simply check the box and specify the unit of measure for each. You can also choose whether you want to track your data for a single meter or multiple meters and can add up to 10 meters for each emission source. You can even specify your own emission sources for any source not included on the standard list. However, you will need to obtain the emissions factors from a credible source. The emission sources are divided into 3 categories based on the internationally accepted Greenhouse Gas Protocol. Scope 1 emissions are defined as direct emissions from sources that your organization owns or controls, such as natural gas burned for hot water or fuel for company-owned or leased vehicles. Scope 2 emissions are indirect emissions from the purchase of energy, electricity, steam, etc., that is generated from sources owned or controlled by another entity. Scope 1 and 2 emissions are required to be measured if you wish to be in alignment with the Greenhouse Gas Protocol or if you wish to become carbon neutral. Scope 3 emissions are all other indirect emissions such as business travel in non-company-owned vehicles, employee commuting, paper usage, waste disposal, and recycling. Accounting for Scope 3 emissions is not mandatory, but it is encouraged as it increases opportunities for emissions reduction. Access setup. In the Access tab, you can set up different authorization levels for each business unit. This gives you the option to create more than one class of user within your organization. So, if one person sets up the organizational details, emission factors, and goals, they can assign a different person to simply enter or report on data who won't be able to change the corporate setup.